Okay, everybody, just running just a few minutes late. We're getting ready to start the meeting. I got the meeting being recorded and running live on YouTube for those sitting at home watching. So, okay, first, let's begin with this meeting dated 20th of April 2024. Like to begin with roll call of the board. To my left,
William Rosenbaum.
Randy Powell here.
Susan Hunt. What's in the Albright?
Okay, good. We have all four board members present, and I'm being told that we just barely squeeze into having a quorum. If anybody leaves, we most likely will not have a quorum. We could still talk, but voting wouldn't occur because we need a quorum to vote any item. So just warning people in advance, okay? So, all right. First of all, we'd like to begin with the meeting minutes from the last meeting. Last meeting was in July, public meeting.
There's two copies laying on the table over there. It's 3 pages long, and we were gonna consider they were on the website for several months after that meeting, and I brought copies, so instead of reading 3 pages, I think it's more beneficial they can come up and read them if they want.
Okay, so it was posted for several months for people to read. So people did have an opportunity to read. There's some hard copies here if you wanted to browse through them. So we have a motion to bypass the reading of the last meeting.
Second.
Everybody here, well, it's your meeting, folks, so you better agree to that? It sounds very good. Okay, there's hard copies, like say, if you want to come up here and take a look at them. All right, I'll save you some time. Thank you. All right, next to start with, we have an agenda list. Now at the end of the written agenda, then it'll be open for a public forum, any kind of questions or things like that you might have. So just bear with me. All right. I'd like to begin with architect control myself. Right now, there's a lot of building going on in the neighborhood. Just want to remind everybody, according to restrictions, you have to be pre-approved with the architectural control request. The reason for that is you have to ensure that whatever you're building is in compliance with the restrictions. The board doesn't make these things up. They were made up years ago by people like you, the community. Okay, we have to follow them. We have to make sure that people building do follow the restrictions and they don't violate them. So, please open up your architecture control form and have it looked at and approved. If you guys got any questions about what you can do and can't do, the restrictions are posted on our website for anybody to download and look. And they can also contact me for any questions they might have. I worked on the weekdays, but in the evening or the weekends, I'd be able to come out to the property, take a look, answer some of your questions. And I've been doing that with members here. So if you need any help, just let me know with those. And just to go over, I cannot submit a architecture request for you because it has to be submitted via AppFolio. And I can't go into your account to, your account's password. It's your account. I can't go into your account to create a request for you. So just a reminder, you have to create the request yourself, supply all the documents yourself. If you don't have any resources like a computer at home, there is an application you can put on your cell phone. You can take pictures and include the pictures that way. Take a picture of your architectural request form and submit that via your cell phone. I do have a scanner and a computer in the office. I can meet you here in a weekend if you want to scan any documents or needing assistance completing the form, and I'll help you get your application submitted properly. So if you need help, just let me know. We do have 2 other members on the committee. They own property here, but they don't live here full time. So they kind of rely on me and being the eyes going to the site and looking at everything and reporting back to them. So just so you know how the process works. Also, we've got a lot of people digging around in the area in front of their property. It's what's known as the easement area. We've had a few people recently digging without calling the, call before you dig. And they've gone into some pipes, some water pipes. And it just doesn't affect them. It affects everybody, community. One person breaks a pipe, everybody loses water pressure for hours. All right, so it does affect everybody in this room. So I'd ask if you're digging in the easement, I'm talking about if you're ripping up an old tree stump, you're putting in the mailbox in that area, especially use call before you dig to make sure there's no accidents. If you do bust a water pipe and you didn't do the call before you dig, they will make you pay for the repairs. The water company, we won't. The water company, they will charge you for the manpower coming out there and fixing it. So just before you dig out there, put in a request to make sure that you're clear to dig and it's safe to dig. All right. All right. Okay. Just a reminder about the dumpsters we have in the back here. Reminder, they are for household trash. That's common household trash. So it's no construction materials, no furniture, no grills, that kind of thing. There's a list posted on the fence back there. Don posted it. Reminding people it's for common household trash only. If you do have large items, you need to take them down to the transfer station and dump them off there. So we do have periodically had people from outside the neighborhood come in here, dumping their stuff. So if you see somebody doing that, it's best to get a description of the vehicle, license plates, and we'll follow up with it. All right. In June, there's a tax sale, the county tax sale, and they've identified about 10 properties in the community. And I have letters on each one of them that they've notified us that there will be a tax sale on them sometime in June. Okay, about 2 weeks before the tax sale, they will put signs on all these properties. And you get to put bids in for them. So I would highly caution if they own money for taxes, they probably owe dues also. And the dues always follow the property. Even though the county will give you a tax sale on the property. Is that a question or?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine. Is there any discussion or any, it seems like it'd be a smart business plan, it might sound counterintuitive, but to like relieve that lien after somebody, if it's going for a tax, because that might prohibit somebody from buying.
Oh, I can answer you that question. It's been asked here before. We've explained it before. I'll tell you. In our bylaws and restrictions, it specifically says that we cannot release somebody from valid money owed. It says it specifically in the paper. We can't. It prohibits us from doing it unless the bylaws were changed.
And do you think that, just personally from your, do you think that's a good idea or not? Just on the basic.
Me, over a long period of time, that money goes up to be more than that probably actually worth. And in the past, and I'm telling you, they did this wrong back around 2019 area or so. I think at one time they were giving people a break by saying, hey, if you pay half of what you owe to us now, we will forgive the rest. That was something that was happening right around 2019 or so, but that violated the bylaws restrictions. It was black and white. They could have probably gotten in trouble for that because the money is owed to the POA, to the community, and they don't have the authority to give that, to release them from that money that's owed. And it's not our choice. It's something written in the bylaws and restrictions. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We have a forum right now. Can we make a change to the bylaw right now to make a motion to pass it?
No, the changes to bylaws and restrictions normally reserved for the annual vote. Now you can probably make a request they be added to the ballot, yeah. But because we want to ensure changing the bylaws restrictions is very important to people in this community, and you really should include everybody in that vote, not just the people in this room today, for example. But if you guys are really interested in making bylaw changes and restriction changes, usually we add those to the annual vote, and you people decide. It's your community, it's your choice, really. So that's the best time to probably do something like that.
And I just.
Randy, can I intercede here, please? Can we get on with the meeting and then answer questions?
Oh, sure.
later?
If you want to write down the note, we can go through this and at the end, we can have an open meeting.
Thank
But, we'll get back to your question. All right. So, let's see, where was I? Okay, with the warm weather coming around here, we've gotten more traffic on the road. People starting parties and such like that. Yeah, be courteous to your neighbors. You know, your neighbors might have to work and they have to listen to that music all night. So try to be courteous to your neighbors. Uh, goes with barking dogs, a lot of noise in the middle of the night, that kind of thing. So I'm just asking people to be courteous to the neighbors. We got an issue with ATVs in the neighborhood already. ATVs are prohibited on county roads and POA owned roads. You're allowed to have the golf courts and UTVs on the road. You have to follow all the regular road laws for such. You have to be 16 years old. You have to have insurance in that vehicle. I've seen some vehicles right now with kids. It probably looks like they're about between 9 and 13 years old. Now, the parent may be sitting in a passenger seat, but it's still illegal. If the county were to catch you doing that, they probably write you up, you know. So, so try to be 16 or older, have insurance, follow the rules of the road. Just on my asking right there. UTVs, the mini bikes, motocross bikes, those are not legal for the roads here in the neighborhood also. So there are areas outside the community where they are legal. I want to say Camp Gruber, is that correct? There's an area out there to ride them.
Camp Gruber RV Park's got
Yeah.
dirt bike trails, UTV trails,
Yeah.
jeep trails.
Okay, so there are places outside the community to ride those. So, yeah, and the same thing if you're going down the road and you see an animal on the side of the road, we've seen a few people, you know, make a divert, try to hit that animal on the side of the road like that. That's really a bad idea also. So, yeah, don't run over the animals in the neighborhood. So, all right, yeah, we're asking that at nighttime, when people driving at nighttime in UTVs, that they utilize the headlights. I understand a lot of them don't have lights on them, but it's very unsafe to drive one of those down these roads back here because they're not well lit. In addition, you're driving around with no headlights. So if you're driving at nighttime, I'm sure you have some kind of headlight, tail light at minimum on that thing to drive around. Otherwise it's unsafe. Okay, we've got a lot of questions about the boat ramp. Every year we answer these questions. The boat ramp is owned by the Corps. We do not own the boat ramp. It's not our area of responsibility. We don't control what happens down there. We don't handle emptying the garbage, that kind of thing. The boat ramp is Corps property. You got anything going on down there, it's best to talk to the Corps. Any suggestions about improvements, that sort of thing. But just remind, the Corps is not our property. So anybody in the county pretty much is allowed to use that down there. We can't restrict people's use of down there to only people from the neighborhood. Everybody has to have a use down there. So just reminding people. Okay, that ends the Harbor Patrol, portion of the. Next we go to Vice President Susan Hunt.
I wanted to add two things to the stuff.
Sure.
Don and Butch are both here. Is there anything you want to bring up that maybe we didn't discuss since this is your area? Any reminders or anything you want us to bring up? No? You be good?
You're good.
The only other thing I wanted to add is there is a member on Skyview that contacts me almost every day, sometimes multiple times a day. People are walking through his yard, literally through his yard.
Yeah.
They're sitting under his picnic area and they're going to the lake, but his property is not a lake access. I guess I just want to add, be courteous to members that aren't here during the week. It's very upsetting to him when he sees people sitting on his furniture, walking through his property, and I can't do anything for him, and so I'm trying to work with the Harbor Patrol to see they know who these people are, so we can go talk to them personally, but you know, be courteous to the members that aren't here that can't police their own property when they're in here. That's all I wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I would say to that, but say, yeah, try not to trespass on other people's property, be courteous and get their permission if you want to cross their property. So that's pretty much common sense, but, okay.
I don't have a whole lot of, right now, the general fund has 158,499.46 in the account. Roads has 39,816.69. So far to date on 2024 dues, we've collected 31,835.99. 2023 dues, 2,574.31. 2022 dues, 370.60, and we have collected 1,114.34 in dues prior to 2021. There's a few other miscellaneous things, but current income to date is 37,252.74. I mentioned this in the board meeting that Appfolio put late fee already on the accounts. I'm removing them as I touch them. I'm obviously not gonna be able to do all of them, so if you notify me that you had a late fee, I will remove it, but I am trying to remove them as I go through accounts when I'm doing payments and stuff. I'm gonna call Appfolio and see if there's some kind of fix they can do manually on there and remove all those if they haven't already been.
I was asked during the break, Olga, those that have already paid and that showed a late fee, are we reimbursing on that late fee?
Well, if that folio, yes, if that folio would do a fix, because I know it happened last year, but I don't know what was done to fix it last year. So if they do, however that's managed, or if you contact me, you'll just have a little bit of a credit on your account, it'll lower your bill next year. I don't know if our taxes have been filed. I shared earlier that our CPA is not returning calls, emails, messages. I've been trying since 1st of February to get an answer on our taxes, so I will just let everybody know when that is found out. Very frustrating. Randy already mentioned there's 10 properties that is going to be in the tax sale. Every single one of them has a substantial balance due. So if you're thinking of buying one of those, or know somebody that is, you might want to have them call me and I'll tell you what the balance due is on it. I have been looking for some options to change from Appfolio. Or maybe possibly getting a bookkeeper to oversee our money. I'm still in the looking for something at my work stage. It's a very daunting task, and we've been putting it out there since a year ago that we would love to have someone with accounting experience to step up and be on the board as treasurer or committee member to help us in that. But we're still looking for that. We still welcome that, but I'm still working on that. No updated information on that. Excuse me, that's all I have. Excuse me, I'm sorry. She's in Tahlequah. I'm not sure how to say her last name. It's like a French name, but she's in town. She has her own firm in town.
Do you have her phone number or perhaps maybe the whole body
Sure.
of bottom line?
Yeah.
And that's actually a case of our money that includes, not out there for someone to show up. Either knock on the door and find out who it is.
Yeah, we spoke earlier. I'm
He's
gonna be,
by then,
Monday
Monday.
morning, I'm stopping by the office.
Before I do that, I'd
Yeah.
rather you go do that than blow her up.
You must have. Heard you do, but my money.
Okay, yeah, all right. Next item we have pool park from Lucinda.
We don't have a work day set yet for the park area. We will open the pool. It will be out here on the 22nd, which will be Monday. to replace the lateral lines, the fan filter. The sand needs to be replaced in it. It could take up to 2 days for this to be done. And so if you want to volunteer and help with the pool this year, you can show up Monday at 10 o'clock. And we're gonna be working on the outside of the pool, deep cleaning the bathrooms and that type of thing. And working on organizing closets. So far, I don't have that, anybody to do the gazebo painting and or volunteer for that, had surgery, so we're in need of somebody to come and paint the gazebo, if anybody would like to do that. At 10 o'clock on Monday,
Yeah, he just told me, I forgot to update you on that. Tony said he was going to do it.
thank you.
Sorry.
Okay,
It may be a while yet,
Yeah,
because he's
right,
got to get
okay.
past his recovery, but
Okay.
yes, he did say he wanted to still do
all
that.
right, sounds
So,
good.
my fault, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. We are gonna still have some repairs that need to be done around the pool, the outside area, so if you wanna volunteer to help with that, we'll be setting up some dates to help with more repairs on the pool. We did get the contract signed with Jeans Aqua, so we will be, working with them again this year, and we need to remember that when you're in the pool, to be respectful of the class time, that the pool, that would stay on the shallow end while they're working on the deep end. So that's the only thing we ask of you.
That contract end,
Yeah.
Bathrooms will not be open unless the pool is open due to the vandalism we've been having. Let's see. Right now, we have 2 to 3 volunteers to work this summer, so if you would like to help work at the summer pool, please let us know. It would be appreciated. And since we don't have any volunteers, then we may have to cut down on our hours that we're open. Also, to remind y'all that there is no alcohol, smoking in the pool or park areas. This also means vaping. The health department has asked us not to even have vapors in the pool and park area. Let's see. It also has to do with our insurance. I mean, we can't have it. This also applies to your rental of the community center and the bathrooms. If you want to volunteer, you need to be 18 years of age and pass the certification test, and your parents, if you are 18 or young, you need to make sure that your parents are in good standing also to be able to volunteer. Also, short-term guests like Airbnbs, people that are renting are not allowed to use the pool. But if you are in good standing and you come to the pool, you're allowed to have 5 guests. If you want somebody to come up to the pool area that is, I believe the age is 14 and older, you need to let the workers at the pool table know that it's okay for those people to come and swim. Otherwise, you need to be there for your guests if you do not give us prior authorization. What else? I think that's it.
Okay, and what's the duties of the people, the volunteers, or pretty much for people who don't know, maybe?
Making sure the pool has got adequate chemicals in it. It has to be tested 4 times a day. Make sure that all the pool is clean. There's no leak or, stuff like that in the pool. Also to make sure that the pumps and everything are running correctly. Also make sure the bathrooms are clean and make sure the people that are coming to the pool are in good standing to be able to use the pool.
Okay, so if we have any deficiencies out here and a health inspector does a spot visit on us, they can write us up and maybe close us.
Yes,
That's for clean bathrooms. If a bathroom's not clean, for example, the chlorine's off in the pool, they will use that to close the pool down. So it's really to ensure that we're in compliance with the county regulations in order to keep the pool open. Because all it takes is one bad inspection, they surprise us and they got to close for at least a week or so. So it's precautionary mostly. And it does help out with our insurance also, having someone out there. Uh, they're really touchy on insuring us. They've already said that if we do this, that, or the other thing, that they would drop us immediately, and we can't have facilities without having some kind of insurance there in case someone, trips or something like that, gets injured. So that's a reason behind a lot of that. So, yeah. Okay. And then, did you want to talk about the cover and maybe the roof one here or something coming down the road or something? Or save that for later?
We did order, we are going to order a new cover for the pool. It hasn't been ordered yet. But we are going to order one. And because we can't, use the old one anymore. This was our last year to be able to use it. Because it has a big tear in it.
What's the cost on that?
On the pool cover, do you remember?
It was close to 8, wasn't it?
8,000, a little over 8,000.
In the health department, we were closing last year. The health department says this is the last time you're gonna be allowed to use that cover. So, it probably lasts about 10 years, you say?
And no, Butch was telling me the cover we have now is over 20 years old.
Yeah. Okay, so it's an investment. They do last a lot of years.
We did 5,000.
So it hasn't gone up a whole bunch, but it has gone up.
Okay, and then the roof for this building, if folks haven't noticed that this roof's been leaking badly when it rains, it comes through the ceiling. It's all wet, wet from this air vent all along the wall here. It is an old roof. It does have leaks due to seals and things like that, and we're just getting estimates from different people right now to get an idea how much it would cost not to replace the whole thing. That would be expensive. We're talking about maybe put a sealer on top, like a silicone acrylic kind of sealer, and get some extra life out of this existing roof without people getting wet in here.
Problem I'm having with getting estimates, I have called and called and called roofers. And a lot of people are using Google Earth to look at our top of our building and they're saying, no, you have used material up there on that roof. We will not guarantee anything on that roof. So I've got one bid and it is totally replacing the whole roof. There's not any way. That's $33,000. I have a bid to seal the roof and it's 8,800. And that's a 10-year warranty.
Okay, well, it's something that we're working on, so we got to keep our buildings and property in shape around here. We just can't let them go. So if everybody just understand that, and we'll continue working on it. We'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with that. Okay, is that it? All right.
I think that on the jeans Aquapro, I know we put it on the website, but the cost that they're paying now is, we changed it with them, changed the contract just to make it aware that everybody, we're charging them more
Yeah, we're
now.
charging Jean $75 a day. Usage we went up, it was 55. So we're gonna have $2,250 coming in from Jean's Aqua Pro this year.
And that helps with a lot of chemicals, over $2,000 a year just for chemicals. What did we pay last year? Chemicals?
It was close to 2,500.
25, so 2,500 just to have the chemicals to put in the summer, for the summertime. So definitely know it. Pools, if you got one at home, somebody who got one at home, they're not cheap to maintain. So, okay, next item we have streets, roads.
The road repairs are gonna continue. I had a little bit of scheduling issue with my job. I'm fixing to change that here pretty quick and free me up a little bit more, but we also have to get past kind of the rainy season, because when you're buying pressure run and it's soaking wet, you're paying for weight. I noticed the last time we put some down, it came in real wet and it was probably a quarter less on the load that you would get if it was totally dry, summer day. So we get past that, I'll start on road repairs again. Because of my job schedule, and I did not get an update on road signs, but I'm working with getting some of the road signs that are damaged, lost, taken down, hit, whatever, getting those repaired. And then I want to remind everybody that the property owner is responsible for your ditches. You have to clean your ditches out. You have to keep them clean, keep trash out of them. That way we can keep the water flowing and keep them off the roads. There's a couple of them that we've done that the water is run across the road again and it's washing away gravel, stuff like that. So part of the area that I've had a complaint on is like there's nobody on the properties. So that'll get addressed pretty quick by me because I can't just have that gravel washing away. And then if you have any other road issues, like I had a report on Skyview, there's a big crater down there basically that makes a lake in the road, and people are driving around the water that's in the road in through the guy's yard. And so once I start road work, I'm gonna get that taken care of so his property stops getting damaged by people trying to dodge the mud hole. And that's all I got.
I wanna just, there's a note on the agenda to contact you for any
Oh, yeah.
issues.
Yeah, if
I
there-
understand people use social media for a lot of things, but it would be helpful to contact William directly, not, we may or may not see stuff out there,
and
and
I'm a truck driver. I'm driving down the road. If you call me on the phone,
he can talk to you all day.
anytime I can answer the phone. So I'm not doing anything but this right here.
Okay. That's what we got. All right, next we enter, some new business open for, general discussion. So getting back to your question, okay, like I say, it does not allow the board to release debt. That's one of the big hurdles we have. We can't forgive somebody for the debt. There was a workaround made for that where if a person, most of the time if the property's been abandoned, somebody hasn't been there for 10, 15 years and they really don't want the thing. And maybe the property's worth $2,000 and they owe $6,000 on it. We've got a workaround and they want nothing to do with the property, not interested in going back to it. And we've given a lot of people the option, well, you could release it to the POA. Okay, that becomes the POA property, and then we resell it to any one of you people for $2,000. Now, we won't get the full amount owned, but see, since we own the properties temporarily, well, it's our debt, right? We can figure our own debt. So we get an $8,000 property, we sell it to you for $2,000. You get a nice lot for $2,000. We get at least a small portion, which goes back into the general fund. That's the only thing we found to be able to get around that, unless there's an actual change in the bylaws or something.
And my question, I'm more like, not saying this is or has or anything, there's, that method I can see to where there'd be methods of corruption and that people in the know before others and whatnot. And again, I'm totally ignorant on all of this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they get along with that, but we always put it up for auction. Yeah, go ahead.
The way that's set up, is it like also on an annual basis, like the annual POA sale, or is it just, oh no, the POA now owns this and it's up for sale?
Yeah, as we get it, we advertise it out to the community that we have a lot for sale and we are taking sealed bids for that property. Anybody in the community can send us an envelope, a sealed bid, say offer 1,000. And we set a minimum bid. If we know the property's worth over 2,000, we might set it for minimum 2,000. And we'll let people know that. Some people put a bid in exactly for 2,000, some might put in for $2,800. And we open up the sealed bids here in front of everybody. We open them up and people can come up and look at the sealed bids to make sure there's no funny business going on. So it's about as honest as I can think of making it. But it's sealed bids to come to us. We open them in front of you people. I've offered does anybody want to see these bids to make sure? And I've asked people and every time, they've declined to do that, but we do make it available for them.
And I mean, I really don't, it seems like I'm making a misship. I really don't care that much.
Okay.
I'm just, in your opinion, do you think it would be advantageous to change the law to, in just instances on auction or county auctions or whatnot, to
When they're already.
forgive,
The county.
to speed up the process of start getting new money? Just in your personal opinion.
Yeah, my personal opinion, there's gotta be a better way, it's clearly, yeah, I mean, somebody buying a property at tax auction for $2,000. Now, we warn people, that usually I go on Facebook and I'll list the properties that are for sale. And besides that, I'll put a notice that there's a lien on it, and they're free to contact us anytime. Hey, I'm interested in buying this lot. How much do they owe? Excuse me?
Is that being public?
Yes, it is.
But that, the
I mean, it's-
county is
it's
not
filed.
required to tell you when they auction the property.
Yeah,
There's
but-
no requirement that they tell you.
Yeah, you go down there,
and say, hey, I want to bid on this property, and is there any liens? And they'll tell you, but you gotta do the search.
yeah, or you could call us and we would tell you if there's a lien on the property. I'd get calls, hey, I'm interested in buying this property, somebody, is anything owed on it? And I'll let them know up front, yeah, there's money on it, so, I don't want people buying a property and it's getting a surprise. Why?
Yes.
Yes,
And often I get calls from title companies or people that are buying something. First of all, I always tell the title companies, please disclose to the buyer that we can't have Airbnb properties in here. But then if there is a balance owed, I tell them that. Usually that's why they're calling. They're usually calling to find out what the balance due is, so. So that's remedied when they do the title search and all that. So I'm very upfront with that because I don't want, like you said, it's just sad when somebody gets something, they're all excited about owning a new property and then they find out all this money is due on it, so. But
Yeah.
We do give that out, yes.
yeah, in the case, and occasionally I do get people to contact me that are interested in buying a property in this neighborhood. And I'll find out the person that's trying to sell to them isn't actually the property owner. So there's scams going on. So it's best to be sure before you make a transaction. You might be buying a property that they can't sell. So, but yeah, you call us or send us an email and we'll tell you, we'll verify the property owner and that which is public information. And if there's a lien on there, which is also public information. Yes, question?
So are you wanting to just go ahead and put it, this for a question on that, so we can move on to the next kind of thing?
No, I think that,
To change the bylaws, you don't wanna,
that needs more stuff.
Okay, anybody else have another question? Okay, like something, yeah, sure, go ahead.
a copy of the charter,
Yes, it's online, yes.
the charter is not,
It's on our webpage.
yeah, it's not.
I just looked at it today.
We need to get to that because
They're on there for a
the
while.
bylaws are on there and
No,
the restrictions are on.
That is on there too. I looked at it today.
Is-
Yes, it is. It's on the when you look at all, it's on the bottom of the page. It's right below all the bylaws and restrictions. But it is on there. I looked at it today.
People need to be aware that
Mhm.
this expires in 5 years. Our
Yes,
Corporation does. It's on the first page. It says the duration of the corporation is 50 years. And it was initiated in September of 1980. So 23, we're gonna have to have some things figured out what we're going to do. If the POA is going to continue, or not, if it is disbanded. There are, Article 5 talks about the disposition of the corporation. That the corporation does not afford any pecuniary gain, which means that we can't sell anything here and it goes in the pockets of the members. It is all collected and given to by the state or by our designation, another not-for-profit. So we would lose the trash services, we're gonna lose the community center, the pool, any lots that we own at the time. And then also all of the accounts receivable, which is, all of the past dues that haven't been paid will be handed over to the state too, and they can collect on it. And so it's a little bit different because now we have to hire an attorney and to go through the process that takes us a couple of years. The state can expedite that because they've got a whole battery of people, attorneys that work with them, and they can make it happen a lot quicker. And the cost is not gonna get back because they've already done on retainer. Where we're having to pay $5,000 or whatever for each property that we go through foreclosure. And Randy was talking earlier that the properties that they put through small claims court has just become a fiasco because there's no way to get money out of them once we get a judgment. So we need to, as a community, decide what we're going to do. We're just gonna hand this over to the state to do with whatever, or are we gonna get together and actually figure out what we wanna do and work together for it? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, she's correct, because we are a not-for-profit agency, which means no one in here, no property owner can get any proceeds from the sale of all of our common area, which means this community center will be gone, bathrooms, everything down here will be gone, and you will never see a penny. Property owners will never see a penny from any sale. That's the state law right there. So anybody can come in here and buy this place up, put a big wall around it, make it party central. And you might live across the street, but you're not allowed in because it doesn't matter if you're a community member.
It would be like given
Well,
to
yeah.
a church organization.
Right.
Or a scientific.
Yeah,
group.
or other not-for-profit or nonprofit kind of agency.
That us from this helping another nonprofit. But there's got to be something.
We've got to plan for it because there's, the big thing with the attorneys now is when we can't afford it.
Yeah.
And so we need to
Turn
go
this over to
through,
your
we
state.
need to go through, hey, you talk about your ridiculous bylaws, that people are complaining about chickens and goats and, whatever in the community. We gotta just go through all those bylaws and see, is this something we want to live with forever? Because if we disband, there is a way that you can take those bylaws and ask the state to keep it on the community in perpetuity. So we can actually have those and not have a PLA, but it would give you protection so that they wouldn't be having a bar set up in the lot the next cross turning. You'd have some repercussion because it's still be zoned. This is people need to know these things. We need to get educated. We need to start planning what we're going to do because with the limited funds that we got, we got $37,000 that's been brought in this year so far, and our expenses run about $7,000 a month. We're gonna run out of money at the rate we're going. So the sooner that we get busy and figure out what we're gonna do about this, the better we are, because we may get caught being short and not, and then we're gonna be scrambling. And then we're also at the mercy of the state, whatever the judge wants to decide.
Yeah, for example, if there's any money left in a general fund when this happens, rather than give that money to the state, an action would be to go out there and fix as many roads as we can before we lose everything. So, but there's gonna have to be a committee, maybe a committee will be built next year or two to start working on this, Yes,
PLA, then you lose your security, you might as well become a project, because there's nobody to govern anything. So you gotta figure out, do you want to have the crack house next to you and not be able to do anything other than call the police and hopefully they do something? Or do you wanna keep what we have, the dues have to come up, because if you own a lot, you should pay for a lot, bottom line. You're cutting into the money that we need to keep this place open. You want the pool, it takes money. regardless if you want the pool or not, other people do. I don't use the pool, but there are people that use the pool. That's just bottom line. The bathroom, same thing. You got people that don't have running water, don't have toilets. I know that, but they don't have it on their property. Anywhere else you live in the city, if you do not have water, you do not have a plumbing in your house, guess what? You get contempt. You got kids, DHS gets involved. I mean, right now, you guys are getting the best of both everything. We just need to turn around, if you do away with it, we're not, and nobody's gonna get any kind of value out of their properties, because there's all gonna be brand name.
Anybody here get the personal trash pickup at their house? Anybody? How much it cost you per month? Anybody? 25? Okay, so how much that cost you about a year then? Okay, they say you own one lot and you're paying $105 a year. So which is more expensive, $105 a year for your one lot or not being a POA?
Your vehicle across country, yeah.
Yeah. But that's one thing, it's small things like that that have to be considered,
If you do away with the POA, we lose our security, we lose our say as a community. I mean, yes, we all don't agree all the time, but there's gotta be a common ground too.
Right?
Kind of to add to that a little bit. I don't have the exact percentage, but I would say a third of the people that live here are not paying dues. That's probably a light figure. But the people that are paying are the ones that is allowing people to have trash, allowing the water and electric to be paid up here, allowing to have this building. And when you're looking at that perspective, it's here because the people that are paying their dues and the people that are not paying their dues, they're still benefiting from that.
How do we get the people to pay the dues? I mean, that's the big thing, is how do we get these?
We really can't. We can, this and that, and legal and lawyers, the whole big outside story is we can't. It'll cost too
Yeah.
much money, and we're probably not gonna get shit back.
Well,
Is I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly, because you can't take something that somebody doesn't have.
You can't
I mean,
build
you
blood
can't,
from stone.
exactly, you can't do that, but the people that own all these multiple lots and everything else, well, that's cutting into our money too. That's cutting into the road fund, that's cutting, I mean, if we do away with the PLA, guess what? Roads, who's gonna fix the roads?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Right.
So-
We don't want
County roads.
Our roads. So to really work with solving, we have to find a common ground as far as.
It sounds like there may be options where it may be worth resolving. And I'm not an expert and I don't know, but because I'm ignorant and you sound more knowledgeable than I did.
I've read it.
That
I've been on it.
there's enough room there to have a discussion as to the pros and cons of each, is there not?
I think with the, when you're looking at a not-for-profit, and we might contact the attorneys and see about these past dues. There are such a thing as collection agencies, and there's like, in Oklahoma City, there's a couple of big firms. We just say, hey, here you go, here's the list.
They take a percentage of what's collected.
And they'll take their 40 or 60%, whatever it is,
I mean,
we'll get something out of it. And I think
And that's not-
basically that would be a way that we can do this without litigating things so we can each single.
The other thing you have to do is,
Showing the same thing.
so you're
Not
not,
necessarily, because usually collection agencies have a little bit more resources, because they have attorneys that actually work for them, that actually, because they're there to make money, they're getting a percentage of what they collect.
Is there any cost, is there any cost up front?
I don't know about that end of it, I wouldn't think so, because they're getting a percentage.
So, I mean, that, yeah.
but the other thing you have to look at too is you gotta get that property in the hands of somebody that's gonna pay the dues.
Yeah.
Because if you take them, say you take them to collections and they garnish their wages and all that stuff, and they're still not paying dues, you're right back in the same, you just gave 40 or 60%.
Properties that were exempted from some of the dues, If you folks that pay to do this for every property they own, we can get more money in.
Exactly.
Okay, well, last month, we,
Start paying dues on all these properties.
yeah, well, last month, we went to court last month. There was about 8 cases, was there?
8.
Yeah, we took 8 property owners to court last month. I was there. And in front of a judge pleading our case, they owed property to the POA. You know, they had liens on the property. They still weren't paying. We took them to court. We did get some judgments out of that. Okay, now that you got a judgment, now how do you get the money out of them?
Gotta collect from the judgment.
Yeah, okay, where do they work at? Well, they don't work,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, and we don't know where do you have your social security number? We don't collect your social security numbers and stuff like that so, okay, now we want a judgment. Yay, okay. Well, we still don't have the money, all right? But we're looking into, okay, now we got a judgment. Do we try to sell the property, share sale? No, we were successful last year in doing that, but the property owner had died also. But do we now try to get the property sold at a share sale to get what we can out of it? You know, there's a lot of things involved.
All
Yeah.
the properties that are being auctioned off, if we put it up to vote, whatever the property is basically being sold for, can we not just turn around and just say, okay, then that's whatever, if it sells for 2,000, then 2,000 for the back dues. At least that way the.
Right.
Still get wins.
Mhm.
And somebody.
Yeah, well,
Why take it out? Yeah.
Yeah.
We need the money in order to be able to do the things that we need to do.
Okay, now how the county sheriff's auctions work, sometimes they have to sell it, we can't do it, but they have to do it. They, let's say, the property's worth $5,000, it's property's worth 5,000. We take them to court because they owe 9,000, okay? There's an auction, and we only get $6,000 for the property, even though they owe 9. Well, the property's worth 5. So, and we owe, so they give us what we're owed, including lawyer fees. Okay, because we have to take the lawyer fees out of that too. If there's any excess left after we're paid, like say we get more for the property than what they owe, like say they only owe 5, and we get 10 for it. Well, we still only get the 5 for it in lawyer fees, and then the rest goes back to the property owner. They will get a check for $5,000 for the difference.
Can somewhere there has to be a balance of getting something back to us.
Yeah, we put them up for a silent bid, private auction or, and then,
Bid 2,000, it sells for 2,000, then if there's 2,000 plus then, there's gotta be a divider somewhere.
That's why I was asking if maybe they would want to put a question on the next bid
Yeah.
to where we would have the ability to reduce.
Yeah, I agree, reducing it 100%.
Well, if the harbor, if the harbor takes like the property, if we own it, then there's no dues owed on it.
Yeah.
Maybe the question is asked
Right.
about if everybody wants to do that, a vote for next time, that if somebody buys the property from the town for $2,000 and they owe $5,000, that we as a whatever can reduce it by whatever y'all want to decide to do it, 50% or whatever. But and make it to be where we can have a reduction in what is owed to dues so that it would be worth people buying the property and having a pay number.
I have 2 points for that, which is fabulous idea, but we actually, the last time this came out, we went to the attorney and said, what if they vote to do this? He said, anybody that bought a property, just number 6, let's say somebody bought a property for 2,000, 7,000 was owed on it, they had to pay it. They didn't want to pay it, but they did. The lawyer said, what's gonna happen is everybody in here that we held them accountable to that debt. When they bought those properties, they may make a class action suit against us and say, I want mine for debt, I want my money back. So he said, that's in theory a great idea, but you're setting yourself up for,
Can you not put something on there that says as of this day
tried.
going forward?
tried.
Yeah,
right,
we could be
that
dead.
just keep people from suing.
We tried to put that on the ballot last year and it was voted down.
They make new laws every day and it's so from here to there.
Yeah,
Retroactive, I mean. we gotta get to the house.
Marijuana
laws.
I mean, we can put it on, I'm just telling you, that's what we were told by the attorneys. You can do that, you can put it out there, and if they voted through, anybody that had to pay hundreds or thousands, they may come back after you.
Would that not be the same thing of like, if, let's say you're paying for more lots than 4 lots or whatever, the maximum that you have to pay for? Well, could people sue if you wanted to change to pay for each lot? Because, I mean,
Yeah, that's a weak I mean,
Yeah.
weak reason not to. Pursue.
I'm just saying, like, if they're gonna sue for paying, you know, all these people that would bought the properties and can sue. I mean, if I don't have 10 lots, but if I had 10 lots or something, and y'all changed it, and I said, well, I'm gonna sue because when I bought this place, I was only paying for.
And what has to be done in a situation like that is the bylaws have to be, bylaws and restrictions have to be amended. And that requires an attorney, but it can be done, it's just a process.
So she raises a good point, you know, I hear this from a lot of different people. If I own 4 lots and these 4 lots are conjoined together and I live on that property, that's one thing. But if I've got 15 lots throughout the whole harbor here, to me, those are not properties, those are basically investment.
That's right.
So maybe that might be something to take a look at, and that may not be a popular decision, but the problem is you've got 15 or so lots out there that you could be actually assessing a certain amount of money. The second thing that I will say, I live in an HOA. Our HOA fees are $3,000 a year, so you guys are getting a lot here, a lot more than we get in our HOA. But I will tell you this, is that if you do away with the HOA, think about all the safety and security issues that you're gonna have in this place here. So you got people that, and you just mentioned it earlier, you got people that are spending a lot of money here. Imagine now you've got a house over here that's $150,000, $200,000. Then you got somebody who pulls up a crack trailer, and you got somebody living next door. You're afraid to leave your house now because you don't know if you'll come back here. So I'm just saying that, you know, that the HOA, whether you like them or not, they're kind of that line of defense that helps keep some sort of order in a community because it's run by the people in the community.
Right.
And if you've got, and we have some naysayers in this organization or in this community. And the problem is collectively, at the end of the day, if we don't take care of ourselves, nobody else is going to do it. And I know this gentleman came up here and talked about the sheriff's department. I don't know him, and I don't live in this county, so I can't vote for him. But I will tell you that the sheriff's department can't be everywhere. And a lot of times at the end of the day, it's the butchers and the dons that are really here, and they're the ones that are seeing something and saying something. So, you know, regardless whatever we do, I think we have the opportunity to put some things on the agenda. Let's get it out there. Make sure people understand that, look, if we don't proceed forward, we're gonna die.
I know that the board has talked often about the 4 lot thing. I do think that needs to be discussed and possibly voted on because, I mean, for myself, I have 12 lots and they don't touch. I mean, 3 do and 9 do, and I'm all over paying whatever I'm supposed to pay for each one of those lots. I'm all for it. And I do understand that when you make a monetary change in something, you're gonna have pushback, and there are people that it might be a little harder for them to do it. But you have to look at the goal for the community as a whole. What are you trying to get to? Our dues, when we got the little 10% that we did, was that last year or the year before? That was the first time the dues had been raised in
1995.
ever, was it? 1995. And it didn't even amount to what it would cost to pay the trash. It's incredulous what it costs to.
What is the main argument brought forward whenever due increases are brought up? What's the main negative?
They don't wanna pay
They
it.
don't wanna
No,
Fixed income.
no,
Fix them dumps.
no. Well,
Yeah,
come on,
it is.
y'all aren't listening or y'all aren't reading it, that's it. What's the main thing? What are we gonna do with the money? What's the goal? What's the specified amount? not pie in the sky numbers. You show me, we need to increase the dues by whatever percentage, and by this projection, it's gonna hit. A lot more people are gonna be receptive.
You're basically saying you wanna know.
A budget.
A budget, okay, like you're wanting to do the road fund.
Plan.
I'm just using that, I'm doing just using that for reference. But, you know, like, okay, so we're gonna do 5 rows, what the cost. Yeah, try, I mean, we can't. Well, the
Yes,
cost
I
of
understand.
materials, I mean, they've gone through the roof. I
If
mean,
you
I
get
have.
your money,
I'm
you want
telling you, it's through the roof.
I'm one of the biggest proponents against due raising and the loudest. You wanna change my mind, tell me what you're gonna do and I'll vote for it.
Now, that's
You
part of the
still get the
problem.
same amount of people paying the same thing where these people.
I'm sorry, what?
You're still getting the same amount of money coming in, but these people that have more than 4 lots, they're not paying any more money than we are.
To me, those are two separate issues, and I mostly agree with the whole.
We have to have the money.
We can't get them to pay their dues for their lot. Money down the basket.
I will tell you what I hear a lot, just because of what I do, is you make the people pay that haven't paid already, and then I'll pay more dues. Until the people that aren't paying what they owe now, because if we raise the dues, the same people are not gonna pay their dues, you know, it's just gonna be that.
Look at the boat that we're all in and say the leak's over there, that's their issue, and I can't control.
I'm just telling you what I hear.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
To do it as a community, all we can do is put our money together and try to get everything improved that needs to be done as far as roads and.
Now, how some, I mean, you start really looking at due increases, and you said you live in an HOA, what's the average income where you live?
Well, most of them are retirees, so, you know, I'm assuming that they've made their money along the way and they live on whatever their incomes are, so, you know.
Is it a gated community?
Yes,
Okay, so good month, right?
right, okay,
What's the average income here?
well, that, again,
$37,000.
so that's the amount of money.
The people that live out here and the people whose second vacation home this year, their needs and wants are going to be entirely different till the end of time.
I get that, but at the
We
same.
cannot ignore that. One second. I will hear you out. If we're gonna be talking about due increases, let's put up protections. Somebody that's old and retired on disability or what, file a form, do something intelligent. Let's get creative. But their dues are not grandfathered. Now, if they buy something else or whatever, that's something. But if we're gonna be talking about due increases, let's be intelligent. Let's really think about it to where we help the harbor and don't displace anybody that might. I mean,
I get what you're saying.
Aren't you now just creating a separate subgroup of people that will be exempt, because I got it right now for $25, I can go out and find a doctor that'll say I'm disabled or I've got a handicap condition or medical.
talk to your congressman.
Yeah, I just think that what you have to do is collectively get the group of people to come together and say, what is it that we're gonna do? What are we gonna do with the money that once we get? Now, the other part of the problem the board's gonna have is, even if you raise so much money, I want my road fixed first. She wants, or he wants his road fixed. Then it becomes an issue, okay, well, you didn't fix my road first, so therefore. Well, I know, but there's just a lot of things I think the board needs to do, but I think first and foremost, we gotta figure out how do we get more money in, and again, like Susan mentioned, maybe it is put enough for the vote of the people that we need to go back going forward, that what are those parameters? If you have the properties that are all together and they're joint, you know, that's one thing, and if you've got all these separate properties, I just think that is a huge cash flow for the harbor.
But we have talked about homesteading, which is conjoined properties and you live there, that's your home. Versus having 40 lots scattered throughout, and we do have an investor has about 40 lots scattered throughout there, and he's only paying for 4. Now, you got to think of how much property along the roadway property, you know, we use roadway funds to fix, you know, he owns 40 lengths of property and he's only paying for 4 of those lengths, you know, that is an issue, but how do we keep it fair? I mean, people's idea of fairness is different. What's fair to you might be not fair to somebody else. How do you're never going to keep it fair for everybody. Someone's going to feel like they got stiffed, and that's the issue. You want to get as many people as possible to think they got a fair shake. Okay, but somebody will be upset about it, and then they will call that, start threatening with the lawyers, and you know how that goes. It goes down a rabbit hole.
To your point, that person, whoever that person is getting the benefit of having 40 properties, but only paying for 4, so.
Yes.
You know, that's.
Okay, and to be upfront with people, I had a big old corporation contact me recently wanting to buy this whole neighborhood, coming here. I guess they want to make this, I don't know what, but there's a bunch of investors out there. They go out there and they buy like POAs and HOAs and they try to buy them out, So there's people around here sniffing around our neighborhood right now looking to buy out. And yeah, what do you want to call it, gentrification or something? I don't know. What they plan on doing with the property, I have no idea. But there are people out there trying to get into this neighborhood. So yeah. And I explained that to them. So, yeah, there's people out there that they're looking at us.
Come from a little different thought process, and I'm nothing to you guys, but, I've lived most of my life not in a POA or an HOA. And yes, true, there's possibility of crack houses and stuff, but you can wrap fear on anything you do.
Yeah.
I've lived in large and small communities rurally, and most of those people were rooted out by the community, and it was never a problem. I think you can run around and say that the house is on fire all you want, but that's not always the case, And if I was, if you come from a background where you've always been in that protection, then it's like, oh no, what's gonna happen to me if I don't have this anymore? And that's the problem. We got one group that's always had that protection, It's just like, you gotta come from both views on that. I disagree that, myself, I think the POA is about to its end myself, I'll be honest with you.
Butch,
We got a board and we got a POA,
Oh.
and there's still people coming in, living like their third world, this is the third. world.
Absolutely.
So there's you gotta go where you got leverage, and there's more leverage with the county than there is with the POA. They can't enforce anything. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
I agree.
You gotta have leverage.
did Butch, you had your hand up back there?
Yeah, you do away with the POA, when they hired me, I walked in on 12 grade, and here's one of them.
Yeah.
They just walking through the door. Nobody stopped them. They were just walking through the door, so you couldn't stop them. Oh, your house was next. Yeah.
You walk in my house.
You gotta have somebody.
You gotta. I don't have friends with all the time. You come in, I sound friends.
Can't hear everybody, let's go one at a time, too much.
But that can also be the caliber of people you had living here at that time. too. Things have changed drastically, and
You're very wrong.
But if you don't have any rules to follow, how do you stop that
I can
caliber?
promise you, if somebody walks through my door,
What?
that'll be the last thing.
Yeah, I'm saying, what?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I don't, so having him come around is just added.
You have
protection.
cameras.
Okay, but what's the camera gonna
That
do?
camera
when I'm
might
not
shoot
supposed to
somebody
see?
in the internet at the back door, but it doesn't do anything. There were break-ins here with people with cameras and with them here. And they still did, and
You're
the
talking-
last I know of, they've never been solved.
Oh, we're gonna do so, sheriff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you have to wait
We
45
got
minutes or an hour.
Our sheriff did it, that way.
Yeah. About 5 years, yeah.
So you talked about getting a committee or something together.
Yeah, eventually we're going to get a private committee and go pros and cons, come up with a solution, or maybe a plan A, plan B, and then give it to the members, and members are going to have to decide, really.
No, to get something out, get somebody productive. How do we start that process? We can have a committee made or put together by the end of the year.
Can we start a committee today, just get it rolling?
Yeah,
How do we do that?
okay.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
We'd have to put it to the.
Yeah.
Make a motion to start a committee today.
I
Well-
put it at third.
Well, hold, before we start making rules and motions, you have to specify if you're gonna specify, you have to specify, what is this committee? for?
What's its purpose,
You can't-
extent,
anything
yeah.
else, That's a motion, something, you gotta be specific,
Right,
otherwise. So, the basis of, what was the basis for your original idea for a committee?
Okay, well, the board can create a committee at any time, and it has a specific focus and has a specific lifetime too. It's not perpetual. Okay, what's the purpose? You give them the purpose and you give them a job to do, and using that charter, they have to come up with a solution or at least a choice A, choice B for the members to, and they have to come back here and they have to sell it sell to the community. It's what our options are. And some of those options are probably going to involve lawyers. But they always include lawyers that, yeah,
Oh,
but I'm not sure yeah, we're about 5 years out. I personally don't know when is the best time to do it. I know at least 3 years out myself, probably.
yeah,
Is-
that's more for the renew, because you can also just vote to renew.
You could probably renew,
That's a very simple yes or no vote. That's not while you still have the lawyers that have involved with that, that is the same thing as me with two businesses. That's the same thing as in sometimes businesses are set up in the same way that you have a timetable. Which was, some of these is just simple of, hey, we're 3 years out, we're 2 years out. Just put it on the ballot. If we wish to continue, yes or no. And once you get yes, then you can choose to have sub bracket votes to change this and that.
Pretty sure that you have to draw up a new charter,
Bring it,
yeah,
start a whole new, right, and that's where
It has to be approved by 75%.
75%.
Of the membership,
Membership.
75%.
We're going back to $37,000 collected for the year so far. And $7,000 a month outflow. And that doesn't include a roof, and that doesn't include $8,000 on pool park.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
that's a
during
budget.
that time, if we can get,
So we're running at a deficit, so if you do the math, it's 12 times 7 is 84,000, and we've only collected 37,000 of it. So.
I will tell you, that's for 2025. Right now, we have the money for this year.
That,
And then some.
we're dwindling down.
Yeah.
And
But I wanted to just clarify that that money is for 2025.
we need to ensure that we've got money there to pay for the attorneys when we get ready to do this. That's why I'm saying we need to figure out what we're gonna do now, in case we run out of money to.
I think also on the committee, you need different, this is first opinion, Susan, but
Yeah, I'd make this really easy. I put forth motion that we set a committee to get together to look at what are the pros and cons of getting rid of or keeping the POA. And what is that gonna take involved in those pros and cons?
okay, let me finish before we do anything, okay? I think on that committee, you have to have I don't know how many people on the committee, but you have to have somebody that has a legal background, an accounting background. I think you have to have people that can come together, because you're talking about numbers and you're talking about making changes. And I think you have to have people I wouldn't want to be on that committee. You don't want me on that committee. I'm just not, I'm not the person that has the knowledge to do something like that. I can give my input, but it needs to be people that, I'm not gonna say business people, but someone with a business mind obviously is going to be very beneficial to that committee. I mean, yeah, you're a business person. I just think 4 or 5 people with different areas of expertise would be great for that committee to come together to bounce off with each other.
That's the idea of.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we make the motion today, that doesn't mean that we have to assign a committee
No.
member. The motion would be made and say. to
Yeah,
create
yeah,
it.
your
And
information
then you
is
have the
very
board to
important.
assign those.
Did I say the same thing you did? Because if you did, I must have totally missed it.
Well, it's not a reason not to have it.
Yeah, mine's, I'm motioning that we put that as a
Plan
put
is-
together.
Okay.
There's a second.
But it would be up to the board to help decide.
So motion 1 and 2 to create a committee, is that correct? I want to make sure I write this down correct, okay. Now back to, since I am the note taker here, do we want to put something on the ballot in July for raising the dues again? Do we want to visit that again?
I have a question on adding things to the ballot. My understanding is that's to be done in June. Is that not what the bylaws spell out? The June meeting?
We have to vote on it in June to add it to the ballot?
That's
Put it on
what
the
I
ballot
understand the
in-
proposal to add the ballot is.
Well, it would be on the July vote, that's when we would do it,
I
yeah.
know that's when we vote on it, but my understanding is it's in the June meeting that's called to propose the whole purpose of the June meeting is to add things to the ballot. And that's.
I would have to read it, I don't know enough off
Actually-
the top of my head.
Well, that's something that needs to be investigated because last year we did that, we did our whole process, but only one item that we voted as a whole, as the community that showed up, was even allowed to be put on the ballot. So that, to me, is not following the wishes of the property owner.
A lot of it too is legal.
Yeah, so there wasn't enough time legally to.
Is because we didn't have enough time that last time?
Time.
Yeah, the last one, there was one ballot issue that there was legal issues with, and then we lost quorum. People got up and left.
I might, at risk of derailing this already, but this has been a concern since I've kind of read it. And this is a yes or no. Have you all directly asked the lawyer if the decisions y'all make with the board member down, if that's binding?
We can operate with the bylaws with 3 board
Have you
members.
asked the lawyer?
Ask him what now?
If the decision that we are making as a 4-member membership
The
instead of
affairs
5.
of the association shall be managed by a board of 5. And I'm wondering, due to that wording right there, if anything made by a board of 4, if that's null and void.
A quorum is 3 people.
Quorum of 5, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're only doing a quorum of 4 right now.
Yeah.
And the board isn't making these decisions, the membership is voting on decisions, we are just a board that tries to.
I'm not trying to make this a fight. I'm trying to bring this up as a potential cause of concern because I do want changes in the future and I don't want them to be.
Yeah, but a quorum is considered a majority of the people here.
I understand that.
He's talking about.
But the board has made decisions in the past, only having 4 members.
That's valid. You have to have minimum
You
3.
gotta ask the lawyer.
It's in there.
Yes or no?
No, because it's in the bylaws and the restrictions about the bylaws and the number of
My
board
next
members.
question is, does the POA have any way of asking them?
If you want to pay for your time to go talk to
Yeah.
him.
No, the POA's lawyer is on retainer.
No, he's not for this, not for you guys to call and ask them
I
questions.
understand I can't ask him to defend me in a traffic court or something, but this is directly concerning harbor business. That's why he's there, is it not?
I will tell
It's
you,
not my
if
person.
people start calling him, we're gonna be billed for it. Then there's the argument of we're racking up legal fees. But if people are calling him, that's what's gonna happen.
If I may,
Sure.
so what he's really trying to say, what he's getting to is he's not stating. We know for a fact you're wrong, or you know for a fact you're right. Because the bylaws, I looked through it because he even mentioned it to me and I'm looking at it. And it states, everywhere in the bylaws, it mentions your member, your board. The boards, it states has to be 5. It says if somebody leaves, immediately down 1, you guys are to call on and ask for more people to serve.
And that was done.
And
Yeah.
it's been done.
And people volunteer. and they
People
didn't.
volunteer.
No, we had one
But
person volunteer who was not
But
qualified.
because the bylaws state that you have to have majority of your board.
Okay.
Anything you guys do is valid, otherwise anything else is invalidated. Being you don't have 5, the concern is there's not a real board, there's not a full board, so it's not a valid board.
By definition,
By
yes, y'all are
definition.
not a board right
By
So any that decisions y'all make is fake, but us.
And it could be absolutely, that you're correct, that it's saying this is something you guys should be asking the board, just simply being it states here, and it's simple 5.001 and 5.003. Just saying, hey, based on these two, can we make sure that everything we're doing as a board is valid and not made invalidated because we don't have a full five?
He's gonna call me Monday about something else, so I'll just ask.
Yeah, right, 'cause that's what I'm saying, that's just a simple question, and that's something he should be able to read and have an immediate yes or no.
We have two
Yeah.
issues we're working
Well,
on, and I'll just ask them.
Well, this is just me saying, this is my view up here. I'm not a lawyer, but I would assume that by definition in the bylaws, 3 people is a quorum, and a quorum may vote on any subject. Okay, if we have a quorum here, enough quorum here, you guys can vote on an item. If one person walks out, we no longer have a quorum, we can still talk, we just can't vote anything. But as long as we have a quorum, we may vote on any subject up here. That's that, I'm not a lawyer, Yeah.
Show me where the qualifications of board members are listed.
Okay, well, it says that, well, if that particular job. Okay, it's in the bylaws, I mean, talks about board members and. Let's see,
There are eight the duties of the officers and 907.
talks about the, let's see, very voting. Article 5, terms of office. Okay,
Identify who you are at this meeting. Sir, who are you?
They identified enough, they don't stand the door, man.
We don't know him,
Well, that's, but they did that, though.
but I don't know him. Does anyone else know?
Does
him?
my name gonna, if I
No,
give you my
who
name,
are
are you
you? Do
gonna?
you own property here?
Yeah.
Okay. You're asking a lot of questions and we don't know who you are. In a
So
meeting, we're
where,
supposed to
where would
identify.
okay, well, there is a statement there in, Article 9, which talks about bonding of positions. They look at your criminal background and history, and you have to be eligible to be bonded. You know, if you're not eligible for well, if you're like, say, okay, a treasury position's open, treasury does, still talking. I didn't stop talking yet. Okay, I'm just trying to be play here. Okay, because you mentioned the same thing earlier. All right, treasurer does what? What is a treasurer's primary responsibility? Handle the money, handle your money. Okay, now, if a person has a criminal history of being irresponsible with the money, okay, and we can't get our insurance company to bond that person,
Treasury.
right, treasury.
For any board position.
Okay, and at the time, the treasury position was the position that was open, which she is covering that now. But the treasury position, actually, all of us have to be bonded, but the treasurer, anybody, there's 2 people like right now. Because we have to double sign check. Originally, before us, one person signed a check and somebody used a rubber stamp and some money was taken way before us. But we have it so 2 people sign a check.
No qualified members volunteer.
We have
You're
one,
still looking for-
right, we have one person volunteered. We had a volunteer.
And you did say at the last meeting that nobody volunteered, is that correct? You
But-
said that on camera.
But he came back. and
Well, I'm
corrected it.
volunteering now. So
Yeah.
that's the-
Okay, well, we consider one a qualified person. Okay, we looked at it and could we get this person bonded or not? That's an issue. Do you want people who can't be bonded handling your money? The insurance company wouldn't let us have anybody handle the money.
Back. Combat veteran,
Yeah,
so should I
But what
have
is,
any issues?
but,
not being
but I
bonded?
don't
All
want
right.
to get into your personal business, but
yeah,
it's gotta
okay.
be somebody that knows accounting and knows how to do
Okay.
a budget. And I am not the treasurer. I am doing the
Okay.
duties of the treasurer because I inherited it, not my choice. But I was the only person that was the only person that was able to operate it out forward. Pardon?
Not qualified.
I'm not qualified as an accountant, I'm qualified to do what I need to do in that
So we have
folio.
non-qualified people sitting on the board, self-admitted, the qualification doesn't mean shit.
Okay,
You can't have the motion to put a board member up there or just yourself? Is this a community of us or you?
Get inside.
We had an accountant on the board as a treasurer. She was more than qualified and she did a great job, but she left for personal reasons. And we have approached many people that we felt were qualified. And we were told by a multitude of people, I want no part of that. And I will tell you, I'm just telling you because I hear this frequently. They don't want any part of this because of what they see out there on social media.
Turn social media off.
I wish I could. I wish that people didn't look at it, but that's why they won't do it. They see the arguing, the bickering, and that's why they don't want to do it. There were several very qualified people. They said they wanted no part of it. So we can't force somebody to get on the board.
I want to slow down. First off, yes, thank y'all for having to deal with all that. That was,
Absolutely. That's hard.
oh,
okay. But even this last week, I was asking people if anybody had any experience that had a clean background, and I've got no bites yet so far. Because we really need to get somebody who can get a handle on the numbers and the financial aspects of running the treasury position. And we'd like to get them in now to get some kind of cross flow, what's going on before the elections come out, you know. And we really have somebody who knows what they're doing.
So on that, there's a part there is because we are a community. When you start saying expertise or training, there's always going to be scenarios that someone that's running for the board, because, you know, I don't know who's gonna be here next and who isn't. But if you turn around and have 5 people come on the board, or every year, 1 year it's 3 and 1 year it's 2. Anytime you have that change, there is no guarantee. I'm talking about. You have no guarantee that those people that are being voted in are gonna have any of these qualifications. So specifically on that, when you need someone, and you guys, because there's no reason you shouldn't do 2 jobs either.
She's doing 3.
Okay, even more. This is, I don't care if you're doing more than 1, because we're missing a board member. If there are people volunteering, you should take them up on it. And you just had one up in front of everybody.
But you still have to be bonded.
That's fine. That's a simple.
Nobody questioned their ability to
Yeah.
bond when they were voted in.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what it always has to happen. Every year, it doesn't matter what happens. That's part of the bylaws. Every person that has ever been on the board has to get bonded. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you have somebody volunteer, take the volunteer, because this is the best thing about this community. We are the closest thing to a true democracy, because of any one of you, you don't have to agree on your board. So if somebody comes in, they start doing the stuff, and they start doing accounting like they're counting with their toes, then you can simply tell this to the group and say, guys, this is happening at any given time, as long as we have forms, which we do right now. You can go, okay, I'm giving you the honest opinion, this is an issue, and you can put forth a motion, you need to remove them. That's how you can use this to the advantage, because if you have someone volunteer, take the chance to get a volunteer. Because unless and back into, asking the lawyer, when I said, you're not gonna ask that, you're gonna ask that on Monday when you talk to him, so, but it's the same thing, because if you have a scenario, if it's all not valid because you just don't have one, then we're actually in worse trouble. Yeah, that's a serious issue.
But
That
our lawyer
really is.
does
You
know
talk
we
about
only
class
have 4
action
board
lawsuits
members.
and whatnot, right, but he just raised lawyers
Yeah.
unless somebody asks, sometimes they just don't look. So it's when you hate volunteers, you're saying you're looking for them, but now you're saying you were discriminating because you don't personally feel it. The reality is, I've met a lot of people, but I still don't know a lot about them until I see them do the work. Because at the end of the day, we have to pay an accountant. Even if we have an someone doing this work, we still have to pay an accountant, it's gonna check it and charge us the money to file it anyway. So if you can at least have someone that can run basic numbers, and it's not hard with four other members, to simply just go look and go, at least these numbers are being added and subtracted and put in correctly.
Okay, part of the problem is Appfolio.
Okay.
It is very, it is,
That's a whole nother scenario that we could deal with very easily. But it's one, you start back to, if you need help and people are volunteering, that can be bonded.
He could be a secretary and have no voting, no ability to touch any of the funds in the bank. He could be a vice president and have no ability to touch any of the funds in the bank. And the bonding is not an issue.
yes, but it is whenever the bylaws say they all need to be bonded.
And while the process is.
No problem with them.
Okay, we can ignore the bonding scenario.
Going on, he can fill that.
Right, one at a time, there's too many people talking, one at a
While the
time.
process is going on, he can at least fill that position without having any ability to touch any of the funds of the community. There's nothing he can't.
And the rules are now fulfilled, everything is above board, you don't have to have any worries of any scenario.
You've only got two signatures on the bank right now, and that's.
She's saying right now, you can take the help and
So
check on the bonded after.
he can't touch any money.
Oh,
So let him be secretary.
Or somebody else, please, for the love of.
I would love for him to know what all that entails before he says,
No,
I want to be
know,
secretary.
I don't want, I did that last time thing I wanted.
How many of the people on this board knew what their job entailed before they got on?
Oh, they did too when they walked in.
Exactly. But you didn't know what position you were gonna have when you
Yes,
got.
I did.
Yeah, she,
I
Yeah,
did.
she did.
But-
Well, that goes to another issue, but I mean, we can't be putting board members on because we don't agree with their opinion. That's what we need, diversity and diversity of opinions.
oh, I don't disagree with that.
Y'all mentioned,
That's where
y'all mentioned that folio.
It's that.
Again, I'd be looking for all the help and screw dealing with all of this. If this thing will help manage whatever, I get it. But we've just had a couple of examples to where it just takes, it's another heavy hand on the meetings. And I'm done. I don't know what is involved. But it can't be that hard for us to take our damn credits down to the majority of us, the people that live out. But it feels like Appfolio was forced upon us and half-heartedly like, you have to do this and it's the law now. That's not the case. I mean, I know I can go down to the bank and pay my dues without Appfolio fees and this and that, right?
You
CHK.
can't go to the bank because
Why not? I can't get a deposit from it, or-
You can get a payment slip. You can get a payment slip, go to like Walgreens, Walmart, pay.
Account number.
No,
Yeah.
no, go ahead, please. So what he's getting into is, there's really not a reason, especially when you get in today, you know, and I can tell this from having the store at front. Using transaction cards and any of those things costs a lot of money.
Mhm.
So and you guys know that senior Appfolio from your side versus not even everyone else guessing. One of those things you can do is there are ways to do, it doesn't matter if it's a business account or a personal account, anyone can deposit money in an account. You just can't take money out.
Okay, let me just clarify something before we go any farther. The dues don't get paid if it's deposited to the bank account. It has to go through Appfolio so that it's
Right.
proportioned to the right
Without
account.
We're
Appfolio.
saying without it. We're saying because Appfolio has clearly done nothing but cause problems.
Right.
In reality, it is what it is.
I mean, what was
Good,
it?
good effort, good effort, understand the reason and.
It does have a lot of benefits, but it's not user friendly
Right,
at all.
and it's not for what it's costing
And it's too
extra.
expensive.
It's really
yeah.
not changing what you could pay someone to do part-time work. So if, in one of those things you can do, if you don't have the Appfolio as the issue, you can't have people with a slip, because if anytime a check goes into an account, in today's society, and I think you worked at bank before, someone did.
I do
is,
now.
you know, yeah, they take pictures of it, so you can see on there the info on the check. So it's even that of, you know, then all of a sudden, if someone can go down to the bank and actually pay their dues in a check, as long as the check has the information on it. Well, that makes life a lot easier, because then you don't have any transaction fees.
Do you
Now-
realize I'm taking checks?
Yeah, we take checks now.
Right, don't you run it through Appfolio that?
No.
Well, I have to enter it into Appfolio, and then I take it to the bank.
And you
Yeah.
have a transaction fee.
No.
Yes.
No.
No,
From
if
Appfolio.
you do it,
If y'all do it,
like-
yeah.
If you do CHK,
They charge me a card or an ACH. When we enter it, there's no fees.
So hold on, here's what's going on with that, like what she's talking about is you come to her to the office. And you write a check out for she is manually entering your information into Appfolio, therefore Appfolio is not processing your check. She's taking it to the bank and processing it. So there is no fee. So basically the same thing what she's saying is going to the bank.
No. What they're saying is if you get on your phone, you see the check, so you can run it, it charges you a fee. But if you actually, they her a check, she manually goes, she's a deposit the check, so she just.
Manually entering the number.
But manually, it's lost them saying, this is paying, so then they don't get the money.
All right, just FYI, we've lost our quorum. We've had several people leave.
We don't know that, just people.
well, we can always do a quick count if, and see if we have enough. Okay.
Yeah, get that, there was two motions.
Okay, the motion, just to say we are creating a committee to look into what happens in 5 years, what we're gonna do. Maybe come up with a plan. Are we gonna come up with two plans? Like, yeah, we can create a committee without a vote. Yeah, I think.
May
Because,
not be a board decision, because it's brought up the question of having to have five. So can we even make a decision?
Well-
I understand.
well, the
It's a double standard. They're asking for one thing and they're saying you can't do this, but okay, can we do this?
yeah,
Well, if we're not a legitimate board, then no, you can't.
yeah, you're right, yeah. All right, so, are we gonna have them look into what do we need to do to renew?
Okay,
Are we looking into what do we need to do to disband? Are we gonna have them look at both? The same committee look at both, two different committees, or what? 'Cause one's gonna be pro, one's gonna be con. They can't be looking at both, because,
But see, that's, yeah, that's.
Well, he can't hold up his paddle because.
The diversity on the committee.
yeah, you can't have everybody on the committee that wants to disband on the same committee, because then, you know what they're gonna, hey, yeah.
Okay, Wendy, we have a quorum.
Okay, I think we can safely create a committee to look into what happens in 5 years. Now, there's gonna be two sides of this. There's gonna be, okay, what do we need to do to renew or, whatever in 5 years? Or if the people decide not to do that, there's also gonna have to be, okay, what do we do if they decide to disband? Is that gonna be the same group of people? Cause this group of people might be one way or the other. It needs to be a mixture of different people with different ideas, probably. But we're not gonna pick names today, but I think we probably could create a committee with a purpose. And later on, we'd have to create a charter of what the purpose is, how many members, how long is it gonna exist, that kind of thing. What to do if a member steps off, who they're gonna be replaced by, something like that. So basically, a charter is gonna have to be created, but yeah, I think I agree with that. Something needs to be done better early than later. You got a question?
Yeah, just recommendation. I think you guys are going to try to establish exploratory committees. My recommendation would be to probably have people submit resumes of the guys. Experience.
Okay, do we want to set a time for volunteers, and probably by
Volunteers
next
for
meeting?
the committee, yeah.
By
I mean,
next
they
meeting?
can contact us and put their name in the hat.
Okay, but we need names by the
By
next
certain-
public meeting.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we could probably accept names between now and probably the next public meeting, which is scheduled probably soon.
The 24th.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we can get names. Yeah, we'll collect names and then we can provide more information announcement at the next meeting, but I think at least 6 people, maybe.
Yeah, I would say 6 is a good number.
We need we need to make sure people are overlapping and covered in case people aren't here, people on vacation. Okay, just create it. We're initially just saying create a committee with 6 people. We're gonna collect names for the next month.
Okay.
And then, and maybe the committee can work on the charter, just sit down first.
I'm gonna do something if everybody's talking, hold on.
Right, the first thing they do is create a charter and fly by us, make sure the charter is what, it looks good,
We have to vote on that? You said you were gonna do it. By the next meeting, when you had it set up so we can vote or get people in there, whatever. Wait till I'm trying to talk about the same thing everybody agrees on.
Yeah.
Go ahead and put it
But
on.
I don't think we need a yeah, I don't think we need a vote to create a
I
committee.
think we need a vote.
Yeah, to create a committee,
Well, I've
Yeah.
got 3 names so far, we want 6.
but it doesn't need to require a vote to create a committee.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, with somebody in the back there too.
You?
What? They don't hold me on
Does anybody have anything else to bring up?
We're gonna have to vote who's gonna be on the committee though. Oh, he's the guy who owes money. No, the board, we fill position, the board does. We're gonna have to do that later.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna create a committee.
And I would like my email addresses out there, maybe submit. I don't know if we need a formal resume, but some kind of written dissertation of some kind of background of why you want on it, what would you feel makes you qualified, what attributes and knowledge you'll bring to the table, so we just have an idea of who's on there. And then at the next meeting, we can get the 6, so hopefully we'll have 2 more by then, we'll get the 6 names.
You say the date for the next meeting again?
May 24th.
It's a board meeting.
That's a board meeting, but I'll make all the information public.
Kathy,
Yeah, I got her.
then the guy behind it.
Yeah, I got that too.
One more, and sorry, might need a little help hand holding. The motion, that's gonna sound weird. I'm of the mindset, we're trying to build a new charter, blah, 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 this and that, take all these great steps, raise rates. We're not having a lot of success because I don't think we're a community in that, and that can be defined so many different ways. My thinking is take baby steps. If we can't get a card game together, we're not gonna change the charter or raise anything. I'm proposing a monthly, especially during the summers, we can hash out the details later. A monthly card, domino, and cornhole game. Taking different times at the community center here. But it will be funds. Half the fund goes to the harbor, half the fund goes to the winter. It's a reason, it'll generate money. It's a reason to get together, reason to get to know your neighbors, have a little fun.
The harbor can't make money.
Mm-mm.
They can be donated.
Yeah, make a profit.
It's considered anytime you're doing like 50-50 drawing based essentially. They're even that kind of. It's charity.
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to take money in that way.
We're a
I mean-
nonprofit.
Why can't we
get money
to ourselves?
You can make a donation.
Yeah, we could do a game night.
Right.
Yeah, we can, I just need dates, but yeah,
Everybody's playing.
everybody enter with a donation, you could do that.
It's just when everyone playing, half the money going in, we done.
There's a nugget of free information, just FYI. There's a new member that's coming into the harbor. I don't know if she's actually here yet. But she's a line dancing instructor and this summer she wants to have line dancing up here. And I was like, I think it would be so much fun. So, maybe we could do something with her too.
So, I don't know, I mean, and I don't know if that needs to be, how do we do, like, set up a program, is that something?
You have got to fill out your form, be able to use the community center. It's all
We just
Just
need
this purpose,
information, yeah.
this purpose of we,
But we can't put it on. No.
Yeah, a member has to be,
it is sponsor, like,
like a sponsor for.
Yeah, that's where I was going with you. You can't make money. The harbor can't make money.
Nothing about that.
Kind of like when we had the dinner for Kay and John Bowley. The food was there and we asked for donations on their behalf. Nobody benefited from that except the persons that received the donations. And they went directly to them. We didn't take a dollar of it. And I want to talk to you after the meeting. Stay after class.
Wouldn't that be hard?
Yeah, we would
That's Chris-
probably work out something with them somehow. Yeah.
Crystal's in the back, yeah.
Crystal, are you listening to this?
I'm lost,
I'll go over it with you later. They're talking about having a get to know you game night kind of thing and people bringing donations to put towards. The social club probably does that way, that at least there's some kind of tracking of where it's going, yeah. Something just to get people in here to get to know you.
Y'all want me to put together a game?
Yeah.
Because if it's so hard, it can't be-
I think that, it's your idea, I mean.
It's hard to-
It's social director as far as activities.
Well, and I think you would have to have, if you're gonna have somebody give a donation, where's the donation going? Is it going to the road fund? Is it going to general fund? Is it going to the harbor social group? Is it going to?
I really don't think the code, I don't think the POA should accept any money. Nope. It should go to maybe,
It needs to be identified, so for tracking purposes, we don't want somebody saying, well, I gave $10 worth my money down. We need to be accountable for that.
That's what I'm saying, we have to specify. We have to know where.
And oh,
Yes, ma'am.
I was calling Bob. It's Michelle, right?
that's it. Question in the back?
Game night, see, we don't forget to specify where the money is going to go. Is it?
Yeah, we were just discussing that.
Same. I mean, it's gonna go like June, it's gonna go for the social club for the Halloween thing, and then in July, it's gonna go for the pool fund or something. It's gonna be designated every single.
It has to be declared for sure.
It has to be declared, but it's totally, it's not official, so.
No, I get that, but I mean, it's all, it could fluctuate for the purpose, for the.
We can send that to us. We can vote.
The harbor, the board is not involved with the social group.
No,
Right now,
we don't.
have anything-
We
so
separated, yeah.
it-
It's all accountable.
But the conversation out here is like, can we say, do we want to go for roads, or we want to go to general fund, or we want to go? to
No, we,
can't do
the
that.
BOD doesn't want the money. I mean, the POA, we can't accept the money.
That's what I'm saying. That's the conversation that's happening right here. And we can't do that.
But it goes to social events like parties for kids or free sodas at the pool for people who are visiting, that kind of stuff, yeah.
We just need to understand.
Yeah, well, I don't want to accept any money because it looks like we're skimming it, and I don't want that happening.
Under the road fund. It
No,
has
no,
to
no,
go-
no, right.
So where are you guys talking about this money going? So you're gonna,
So like,
No,
do
they
that.
can't go. into
Can't
the
go to
general
that.
fund.
Yeah, I know
That's
that.
only for dues and the road fund is for road money.
But a non-owner can't give the harbor money.
We wouldn't accept it, no, that, people would consider that an impropriety. And say we're receiving bribes and stuff, and, yeah.
Makes the next be like though, if we had $1,000, we couldn't say, it's on the road, we could say, we're donating so that you can fix all the things on this road.
you would have to be careful of that looking like we're in a business.
We're getting
when we're a
favors.
nonprofit.
So then it's, isn't being donated to fix roads.
yeah.
What's up?
I'm not a, I just got brought to my attention that it might be illegal, and I ain't gonna do it anymore.
No.
We're a
non-profit donation all the time.
Not for profit, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I am.
The point is, you guys have, you lose your responsibility
Big kids.
to count all the money coming in. and
Right.
out. So if these individuals want to go ahead and have some sort of event going on, just gotta figure out a way to take it away back to the heart of the conference.
And we don't have to decide that today. We have the concept, we just need to iron out the details. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have to be specifically what it's going to.
Yeah.
Out here, a drill, both to the concrete, something for everybody to.
That would be. I think,
If a person buys it directly and
Yeah.
we're not, put money in our hands,
If you were to do something like that, you could do it where you're, I'm gonna take this winnings and I'm gonna go buy a grill and and it's gonna be a community grill.
Few years, remember that?
Yeah, that was the memorial, the
And then they
memorial
voted
tree.
to put it back into.
yeah, well, we had problems with that because the family, they wanted the money. They said, no, that's our money. Yeah, when we said we bought a tree, yeah,
I think we got the general idea, we'll just need to iron out some details, so,
okay,
Some more questions we can get.
yeah.
are we done, or
Yeah. Do we want to be done?
do we answer everything?
Make a motion.
Hold on, what?
I gotta go grocery store, get ready for work in a minute.
I think we're all good.
Make a motion to end this party.
Okay.
We are, yeah.
Thank you for coming and for good meeting.
That went better on audio.
Yeah. He was starting to get a little fired up.
Yeah, well, we answered a lot of the questions too. I mean, it was mostly civil, no one lost their temper, which is good. Yeah. Yeah.
Cooperation of questions.
Now, and the only thing I'm not sure of, the question was, oh, you were a little board, like 4 people. Well, the board, you only need 3 voting members present to vote. Yeah. And as long as you got 3 people, you have a quorum and you can vote on anything. If he was saying you just have 5, no, you don't need 3.
Well, you have that quorum, and the quorum is 3 according to us.
Yeah, but just last week, I went on our page asking if there was any volunteers for the treasurer. I ain't got no hit.
Yeah. There was an open board position. But nobody here wants it.
Oh, no, nobody wanted the treasurer position.
That's the position that's
Well,
open.
they were suggesting that one of us slide in the treasurer position, so they could take up CP position.
Yeah.
Because I remember our conversation when we were saying, hey, well, anybody want to move to treasurer? And all of them were like, oh, not me. Yeah. I mean, I can add stuff to track, but I don't have a lot of, I make budgeting for my office and stuff, but
I really don't. No.
I just don't want the responsibility and the accusation.
yeah. But hey,
Very concerned.
Becky went through a lot of portfolio training online. She sat there for hours at a time getting training from other people. They're not offering training anymore. Becky really didn't train her that much. So there's no knowledge to pass on. So the person gives it, they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you tell me what I'm doing? I can't tell you what to do. I think I think he finally put the factory about the bomb
But I will
issue.
confirm it, so it's in the-
He has a long history,
That's what I want.
and I don't.
Yes.
You know, some bogus checks, bankruptcies and stuff. And he was volunteering for treasurer.
I appreciate it when it's.
Dude, you-
Professional level.
I don't know if he gets in for treasurer. He didn't have treasurer skills.
I don't want people to get.
I mean, that was, and no one else.
These people that were here today, that's what they need to say.
We want somebody that can
And not
get to the
everyone
bonding
agrees
issue
with it. You can
and have
disagree and still
some
be-
kind of experience with handling money. They might have been, maybe they worked for a company one time and they worked on the budget of a small company. That, yeah, they know the ins and the daily income, the outflows, inflows, outflows, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. But, if she's leaving in July. Anything she knows is gone. That's why I was trying to get somebody now to give her, she can give them some training. Cause I'm afraid of when we get a treasurer come July, no one's gonna want to sit in that position. And they're gonna be stuck in the same position we're in.
Somebody that's gonna have to be an accountant, is gonna say, okay, I'm not using that garbage, this is the way we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and knows how to do it.
Yeah, cause you can't, yeah.
I'm sure $10.
Oh, they collect the money?
Yeah.
What do they collect money for?
Oh, I know, I think.
Buying
That's my crap,
Oh, okay.
but I lost $10 in money, so.
That is one person that helped to pay for it.